What's happening? What's good? I'm live right now. Straight up and down, no special effects. What's cracking with y'all out there? Before I get things started, I haven't done this in quite a bit of time. So what I want to do is give a shout out to the members of the Green Gorilla channel. Take care of that business. See the members and give them some shouts out. I want to give a shout out to L Fry, Apex Prowler, Lee Ways, Timothy Blewett, Michael Ross, Jeffrey Speed, Brotherly Love 215, Marvin Battle Jr., Mark Hope, Mackenzie Mayweather, Blacksword 404, Pete Rock 496, Jay Cleveland Green, Electrician 480, Marvin Evans, Roguish Son, Kwaku Asasi, Javon Thompson, John J., The IDP Expressions, Darnell Smith, Afro Troop TV, Adam Tahuti, BGS Ibmore, Ignatz Mouse, Show Me, Kyle J. Sora, Brian Peaks, Papa Didas, Roderick Jackson, Scott Haywood, Black Uhuru Strikes, Dr. Tree 33, Rais Morjeed, Leroy Honeycutt, The Thinker, Broken Blade, Life of Commerce, Super Tech, Kisses from Afar, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, Karan S., Anthony Davis, Artisan MC, Damon Brown, Donnell 360, Herbert Lewis, Seven Coast Docho, Pulpit 28, Charles Rogers, B. Hillfire, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean 955, Charles Gilmore 3, Patricia Colley, 7Q Pitt, Greg, Barry Little, Alan Wiley, Mr. Valentino, Jason Hales, Black Men Being Brutally Honest, Cameron 87, Deshaun Nolly, Nelso, Kareem Not Karen, Doc LaRock, J. Charles, The Face, Mark Swift, Odd Collard, Donald Watts, hiphop.catv, Coach DC, Kashif Caldwell, Mr. Blue Collar, Barnolas, I'm Just Jules, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Rasheed Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, C Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, Aaron Infinite, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Kalan Chakala, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, True 7360, BK Born Shaheed, Hostile Adept, and I can't forget my brother in heaven, Force Windu. Shout out to y'all, man. Thank you so much for supporting the Green Gorilla channel. Appreciate that. And shout out to all the brothers out there in the chat right now. Shout out to Eon Miles, Syrup Sandwich, Phil Brad, Brotherly Love 215. I see you out there. Ron Matthews, see you out there. Rasheed Barnes, I see you. So yeah, also I want to give a shout out to all the people on Patreon who give me support. So let me go ahead and do that now. And sorry for coming to you in this particular format, but I'm updating my computer, man. I should have done it earlier today, but I didn't, and I decided to do it at the last minute, so it's taking some time for it to actually do what it's supposed to do and get all the new updates to Monterey in its operating system going. So my bad for that. But anyway, Everett Meadows, Lamont Latimer, William Joyner, Javon Thompson, Tyrone Hampton, Jules Winfield, Romello Scuggs, Darnell Smith, Excalibur, Jason Warren, Anu 219, Pursuer Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Supreme Ilmore, Adrian Hicks, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, Any You, Momel, and Asangwa. Big ups to y'all, man. So back to what I'm here to talk about today, man. Shout out to Toya Son and Doc LaRock. Shout out to y'all, man. I see y'all out there. So today what I want to talk about is the three types of men. And, you know, yesterday I kind of went over this book called The Anatomy of Female Power. And this book is, for the most part, written by an African in the 1990s. Okay? And for the most part, the book is written for men. And the author expressly states that this is what this is for. This is a book for men to deal with, you know, the kind of rigors this society is throwing them in relation to women. So he says it's for all men who have been confused, misused, and abused by women, particularly since the coming of feminism, and it's definitely not for women. So anyway, what I did yesterday was I read the excerpts of the text that were pertaining to the three types of women. You got the matriarch, the tomboy, and the termagant. The matriarch is a woman, for the most part, who basically, you know, is the avatar behind men particularly macho men who feel like they're the lord and masters of women, but really in actuality, they're not. They go out of their way to make sure that women are straight and serve them. You got the tomboy who would rather be a man, and then you have termagants or termagants, well, basically hostile women, some man haters. You understand? So that's how that goes. Okay. But today, what I want to do is talk about what the author considers to be the 3 types of men. And I'm gonna show the screen in a second when I get it situated here. And this is gonna be a quick hitter. I ain't gonna be here all night, man. You know, I will not be here all night. So I'm getting it pulled up right now. Okay, so the chapter is titled On Masculinism. Okay, that's the title of the chapter, On Masculinism. Okay, what is this about? Let's see. Let's delve into it. Now, the author, basically says, if the standard privileges of women make the world of elite matriarchs the closest thing on earth to paradise. And you just got to think about women, man, who are really actually connected to men who are wealthy and powerful. These women, man, have everything they want. They don't have to work. They don't have to do nothing. All they got to do is go shop till they drop. They got housekeepers and all this. Okay? So anyway, if the standard privileges of women make the world of elite matriarchs the closest thing on earth to paradise, then men, on whose risks and effort women's privileges rest, are the helots of woman's world. Now, I don't know if you know what the hell it is, man. Shout out to 3000 GT Atlanta, man, for the super sticker, man. Hey, man, 99 cents. It is what it is, bro. Thank you for the donation. Tell me what the hell it is. I want somebody to tell me what the hell it is. Do you know? Tell me what the hell it is. I know what it is, but I want you to tell me what you think it is. What is a helot? Somebody in the chat, let me know. Y'all don't know. A helot is a slave, bruh. That's what it is, man. A slave, a concubine serf. Okay? So he says, even the grand patriarchs are but headmen among the helots. Each is merely the chief public agent for the grand matriarch whose nest he serves. When some in paradise rebel against their condition, what should the helots do? The concubine serfs do? Would it be unreasonable of them to revolt? To understand why men have not yet revolted in the wake of feminism, we ought to note that in their attitudes to women, there are 3 basic types of men: the macho, the musho, and the masculinist. A macho is a brawny and sometimes brainy factotum who has been bred for nest slavery and who was indoctrinated to believe that he is the lord and master of the woman who rules him. Man, I wish I had a bomb to drop right now, bro. You got it right, Peace God. Peace God got it right. A slave. And now my computer decides it wants to come on. Let me, if I can get it on, man, I will come back with my computer, man, so I can drop bombs on this shit. Oh, man. Let me leave that alone, man. Let me leave that alone. All right. So to understand why men have not yet revolted in the wake of feminism is three types of men. The macho, who is indoctrinated to believe he actually is running things, but you're not really running nothing. But you think you are, but you're not. Then you have a musho, who is a henpecked version of the macho who hangs like a bleeding worm between the beaks of his nest queen. A bleeding worm, bruh. Oh, no, bruh. That's crazy, bruh. A bleeding worm between the beaks of his nest queen. A masculinist is a man who is devoted to male liberty and who would avoid nest slavery. Then he goes on to say, all through history, the overwhelming majority of men have been machos. That's important for you to understand. If you take this with any grain of salt, that most men are machos, brawny, sometimes brainy, but for the most part, they work in service of the mother queen, the hen of the nest. Then you have the henpecked minority who are mushos, and very few have been masculinists. As feminism won prominence and brought greater social acceptability to termagants, more and more men have come under their influence and become mushos. Man, you see the pictures I got, right, on the thumbnail. Because you got a lot of guys who consider themselves to be, working in the service of justice and working for the downtrodden and oppressed. And for the most part, man, they virtue signal and grandstand. And they do so by means of demonstrating, their servitude to women, how they're working in their service. On the other hand, stung by feminist accusations, a very tiny minority of men have re-examined the male condition, found it to be nest slavery, and have rebelled and turned masculinist. The macho, or male chauvinist, or manly man, is a strutting factotum with bulging biceps, stone-dry eyes, brains that are ruled by his gonads, and an indoctrinated ego to believe that he is the lord and master of the woman who rules him. His psyche is primed to defend his woman's supposed honor from other men's advances. Thoroughly conditioned to serve women, his life of satisfaction comes from loyally serving his nest queen. Naturally, he is the matriarchist's ideal man. When young, he suffers from the delusion that he is stronger, cleverer, and naturally superior to the woman who controls him. However, an older and wiser macho, if obliged to confess the truth, might say, I am the captain of this ship, and I have the permission of my wife to say so. But by then, it is too late for him to be anything but a habitual macho. Man, that's crazy. Hold on, man. I got some feedback coming through, man. The modern musho, the new or feminine man, is one of that breed of diffident men who have been bullied, guilt-tripped, ego bashed, and penis twisted into pram pushing, diaper changing, and breast envy. He is the befuddled henpecked male who lacks the wit to recognize his male interest. He is one of those male wives of female husbands who have been described in Julie Birchill's apt phrases as the bleeding hearts and crying males who make up the walking wounded of the modern sex war. Oh, man. The more articulate musho even becomes a missionary for his hen's anti-male views. This pathetic wimp, or you might call him a simp, is quite naturally hailed by feminists as the new man. He is the termagant feminist ideal man. The masculinist belongs to an altogether different species from the macho and the musho. He does not suffer from most of the illusions of the macho. He is not drawn to macho ambitions, and he views the musho with robust contempt. In keeping with this commitment to the liberation of men from nest slavery, the masculinists would end the psychological, social, and legal conditions for that slavery and create instead conditions for equitable relations between the complementary sexes. If men have not yet revolted in the wake of feminism, it is because there are still too few masculinists around. This is so because mother power still produces far too many machos. So, you know, what's tripping me out about this, man, is that a lot of guys consider themselves to be these manly dudes, you know, these manly men. But what are they working for? What are they working in service of? What's on their brains? 24/7, 365. What are they consistently thinking about? You know what they're thinking about, bruh. Anyway, and because termagants have taken so many lapsing machos in tow and made them into mushos, and because far too many men are ignorant of female power and its ways and means, consequently, the liberation of men depends crucially on the spread of the masculinist understanding of male-female relations. The masculinist is a libertarian. His commitment to male liberty and his understanding of the conditions for male liberty shape his beliefs. The masculinist accepts that, contrary to what the macho believes and the feminist claims, it is a woman's world and not a man's. So you're wrong, James Brown. James Brown, you're wrong. Let me substitute this out, bro. I'm gonna put myself in there. I'm gonna put myself in, bro. The masculinist accepts that, contrary to feminist propaganda and macho illusions, the arch enemies of feminism are not men, but that vast majority of matriarchies who do not wish to give up their traditional powers and privileges. Since patriarchy is but a facade for a basic matriarchy, the men who feminists claim as their enemies are simply fall guys for the matriarchies. Masculinists, therefore, would redirect the feminist arrows to their proper destination, namely matriarchy. The masculinist accepts that, as the Calypso song says, the woman is smarter and woman is boss. The masculinist accepts that men are the biologically more dispensable, meaning disposable sex, which is why societies train men for high-risk occupations like hunting and war, whereas wombs and their carriers are protected to maximize a society's reproductive capacity, hence its chances of survival. The masculinist does not believe in being owned by any woman, nor does he believe in owning any woman. He recognizes that the owning of any human being by another was abolished long ago, and quite rightly too. And he has no interest in having the practice revived in any form. In his encounters with women, the masculinist role model is not Adam, whom he has little reason to respect. He takes after Gilgamesh and Odysseus, who knew women well enough to defeat their schemes and survive their revenge, who demonstrated that the resolute man who understands woman has little cause to fear her. The masculinist believes that every woman has every right to do whatever she wants with her body, except enslave a man with it. If she wants to hoard it and tender her unbroken hymen to the worms in her grave, that is her prerogative. If she wants to give her genitals to any man, or to 20 men, or to 1,000, or to a chicken, or goat, or gorilla, or horse, or hippo, or elephant, or polar bear, in that alleged order of mounting vigor, that too is her business. The masculinist does not believe in clitoridectomy. He sees it as a great strategic weapon against men. The uncut clitoris, he knows, would make women as randy as men, if not more so. It would end that sexual restraint, which gives woman power over the sexually desperate male. Shout out to Rashid Barnes. Appreciate that, bro. The masculinist is not prepared to sell his lifelong labor to any woman in exchange for her ova and her womb. If he decides to rent ova and womb, he pays the going rate or even better. But he will not enslave himself to a nest just for the illusion of owning ova and womb. He cannot wait for the day when cloning will make the womb obsolete and womb renting superfluous or superfluous. Oh, man. The masculinist has no quarrel with love itself. He knows that a woman's love, when she is not nest-minded, when she is either prepubescent or postmenopausal, can be quite safe and pleasant for a man. But he also knows that it is rare, most rare, for a woman between puberty and menopause to indulge in non-nesting, non-predatory love. Being a seasoned realist, a masculinist is, in Diane Wachowski's words, a beast of the jungle and knows better than to disregard the nature of an animal. Therefore, when he tangles with a nest-age woman, when she gushes out she loves him, he cannot but wonder which arm or leg the lovely shark is after. Oh, man. To the masculinist, a wedding is a ceremony in which a woman is issued with a public license to ride piggyback on a man and exploit him. He therefore is best not to wed. He does not believe in marrying to obtain house help. Unlike the macho, he finds it cheaper financially, emotionally, mentally to rent house help than to marry it. The masculinist does not subscribe to gallantry. He does not believe that a man should open doors for or give up his seat to a woman, not unless she is infirm from age or disease, in which case she gets the same considerateness as aged or infirm men. He does not believe that it is for any man to defend any woman's honor. He believes that if her honor matters to her, a woman is quite capable of defending it herself. So that's for all you, you Captain Savings out there, who you Captain Savings out there, man, who go super hard for, super hard for these chicks in the paint, man. They human beings, bro. Shout out to Ebo Sosa. He says, man, I don't know where you get these gems from, GG, but thank you. You're a godsend in this space. Hit the cash app for this man, brothers. Amen. Evo, amen. And shout out to Rashid Barnes, man. Appreciate your support there, brother. Appreciate your support. The masculinist believes that every woman should protect herself. She should learn karate and other martial arts so as not to depend on men for her physical defense. Amen. Let's cut all the protect black women. Let's cut it out. Protect yourself. And half of y'all are starting violence to begin with. Or half the time, even more than half the time. Women are the ones who start violence, especially in relationships. So the masculinist believes every woman should protect herself. He believes that since rape is better prevented than punished, martial arts, as well as anti-rape techniques, should be standard items in every girl's education. The masculinist believes that if it is all right for women to be feminists, it is all right for men to be masculinists. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Each should therefore define and protect its own interest. But what is the male interest? Or rather, what sort of things are not in the male interest? It is not in the male interest to be a nest slave or to be programmed for nest slavery. It is not in the male interest to be society's specialist in violence, war, and other dangerous pursuits. So long as these pursuits are necessary, men and women should equally engage in them. The proposal in February 1980 by U.S. President Jimmy Carter to draft men and women for military service, and the decision in February 1989 by Canada to integrate its armed forces and make women serve in wartime combat roles, including infantry units, these are both in the male interest. It is not in the male interest to maim or slaughter one another in their competition for wombs. Man, look here, bro. Man, I've been saying that shit. How long I've been saying that, man? It is not, man. Hey, man, stop. Hey, man, stop going crazy for these chicks, man, and fighting other dudes over these women, bro. Cut it out, bro. That's lame. It is not in the male interest to be killed by a woman when a liaison between a man and a woman breaks up, or when the woman, like the notorious Jean Harris, fears the man might leave her. And look, we've been talking about this, man, for quite a bit of time, man. This one dude who played in the NFL, man, his wife ran up on him with a gun when he was sleeping in the bed with two chicks or whatever. Now, look, that's not in the male interest to support that. Now, the NFL went to do and conduct some kind of investigation. The first thing they were about to do was to try to ramrod this guy. When in actuality, they should have been trying to ramrod his wife, and trying to get him away from him. Since she pulled a pistol on him. And how many videos have we seen where women have basically ran over men with cars and, basically attacked them with knives and all kind of other crazy stuff because the woman, basically caught the man jammed up with another chick. Now let a dude do something like that. Then it's going to be fatal attraction. Then it's going to be all kind of abuse and stalking. But if women do it, they just fighting back. What did he do? Man, this is how the game go, though. It is not in the male interest to be exploited through alimony payments and other rackets of divorce. No, it is not in your interest. This is why, I'm not interested in dating, man, giving people dating game and talking to men on how they can up themselves up so they can get access to women. Man, so what, dude? If you should be able to do that on your own, bro. I'm worried about how you get jammed up when you get with them. When they flip the script on you and decide to exert their power over you. And men are under the illusion that they run things so much, they so powerful, they got their shoulders pushed out, hoisted up, their chest poked out. They feel like they can conquer the world till they go to court. Then they don't know how to fight that fight because they all the while been taught to be a nest slave, to work in the interest of and to work in the behalf of people who don't have the same viewpoint. It is not in the male interest to live in an environment that is polluted with sexual stimulants, which weaken men's bargaining position in transactions with women. Hey, I'm just gonna sit that right there. I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm just gonna repeat that and leave that sitting right there. It is not in the male interest to live in an environment that is polluted with sexual stimulants, which weaken men's bargaining position in transactions with women. Yeah, that way. That way. Now, how do matriarchism, feminism, and masculinism relate to one another? Broadly speaking, feminism and masculinism are two different revolts against matriarchy. Feminism is a revolt by some women who are bored or frustrated within the matriarchist paradise. Masculinism is a revolt by some of the helots on whose backs that paradise rests. How does masculinism regard matriarchism and the tendencies within feminism? Matriarchists have been expert exploiters of men since the beginning of human society. Their ideology, matriarchism, still demands the same thing from men: obedient and uncomplaining servitude. Hey, is he lying? Is this guy lying, bro? Oh, man. Since they are dedicated to nest slavery, matriarchism and matriarchists are most dangerous to masculine liberty. They are, therefore, the focus of the masculinist freedom-loving scrutiny. From the masculinist point of view, the demands of tomboy feminism are understandable, negotiable, and mostly reasonable. Equal opportunities in the world of their brothers and fathers for those women who prefer careers in that arena. Yes. Equal pay for equal work. Yes, of course. But why, the masculinist wonders, do tomboy feminists limit their clamor for equality to the soft, white-collar jobs in the erstwhile male sphere? Why you want all the good jobs? Why you want all the white-collar jobs? Why you want all the jobs where you can sit on your ass and enjoy the air conditioning? Why you want the top of the top? Why don't you take some of the dirty jobs, the nasty jobs, the coal miner jobs, the construction jobs, the electrician jobs that put your life on the line? What about those jobs? Be a coal miner. Don't be a coal miner's daughter. You want the best of the best. You competing for the best. You don't want to be relegated to having to deal with the worst. If, as they insist, equality should replace complementarity as the overriding principle in the gender division of labor, risk, and status, then why do tomboys not demand that both genders should be equally drafted into infantry platoons or coal pits? Should gender equality stop short at the edges of swamps, mine pits, and battlefields? Until tomboys demand equal access to the nasty and strenuous jobs, which men do, the masculinists can only be skeptical of the tomboy feminism's good faith. To the tomboy feminist who advocates gender equality, the masculinist would address this vital question: is it fair to reorganize the centers of male power to accommodate women without also reorganizing the centers of female power to accommodate men? Upon the answer received would depend the masculinist attitude to the tomboy feminist. He goes on to say, this clever man, and he wrote this book in the 90s. This is not a new book. This book was written in the 90s. The demands of termagant feminism are another matter entirely. So he went over the matriarchies. He said the matriarchies are the most dangerous. Because they create the concubine serf attitude in the mind of the man. And they make him think that he's a manly man when actually he's working in service of women. You know how somebody can have you twisted in knots and have you, tied up in a knot to the point where you'll do anything they say. I need for you to go out there and fix that for me. Would you do? I'll fix my flat. Sure, dear. Yes, dear. I have the urge for some ice cream. Would you go get me some? Yes, dear. I feel like some hen dog tonight. Why don't you go in and pick me up a fifth? You don't need to be drinking that. You don't need to be doing that. Anyway, he says about termagant feminism, the man hating, the rambunctious type of feminist, right? They are not demands with discernible remedies, but rather excuses for guilt-tripping, harassing, and mauling men in the unhallowed tradition of harridans and shrews. There's no conversation with these people, man. Don't even need to address them for real, man. So what he's saying is the Brittany Coopers and the Jamila Lemieux, man, ain't no need to even rap to them, bro. All they want to do is guilt trip, harass, and maul men. That's all they desire to do. They are not going anywhere with this. They will not stop. No matter how much evidence you present to them that's to the contrary of what their belief system is about, it's just an excuse. It's a thin veneer which conceals their inward desires, which is basically, I hate these men. To termagant feminism belong those man haters who would legitimize man killing for nest desertion, Jean Harris and her supporters, or even man killing for spurned love, Ishtar style, on the implicit ground that a man has no right to choose whom to love, but must submit to any woman's offer of her embrace like a slave to a tyrant's wishes. Now, just go out there and do a search, man, on like women, like double standards between men and women, and sex and sexual accessibility. And if my man, if he want to have sex or not, he gonna have it anyway because it's mine. I'm gonna take it. Just listen to what they say, bro. Just listen, man, and all will be revealed. To termagant feminism belong the palimony racketeers and the alimony extorters and the man humiliators who demand, love me, love my menstrual blood. Hey, man, no, the book ain't $400, dog. Not for real, bro. Look, I got the book for free, bro. The book ain't $400, bro. Trust and believe it ain't, bro. Oh, man, trust and believe the book ain't that much bread, bro. Somebody get this man a link. Right now, I got too much going on. I can't give him the link right now. But the book is out there, man, and it's free, man. Anatomy of Female Power, free PDF, bro. Anyway, love me, love my menstrual blood. Even in this age of AIDS, of termagant feminism, all sane males must beware. Paradoxically, the tomboy is the masculinist's least uncongenial type of woman. She is his partial ally in revolt against matriarchism. And temperamentally, she is like a buddy with whom he can have sex and children. The termagant, though sometimes quite deadly, is the least problematic to the masculinist. Her nuisance can usually be avoided from afar. Being determined to obtain his liberty, the masculinist looks at nest slavery with unsentimental eyes. For only by understanding man's condition can he hope to change it. He accepts that man's subordination to woman derives from the 5 pillars of woman power. He knows that, and I haven't gone over that. I might, take some time to actually go over that. He knows that with man's loss of control over the kitchen and the cradle, he really has never had any chance of being anything but the slave, glorified when necessary, of woman. As a realist, he accepts that woman's control of the womb will remain unassailable until cloning techniques are perfected. He knows that probably nothing can be done about woman's relatively greater psychological maturity. But he also knows that much can be done through cultural training to whittle down women's control of kitchen and cradle and to reduce the deranging powers of the erect penis. He therefore welcomes feminist demands that men be obliged to work as baby minders. When men get control of the cradle, they will be able to train children in the male interest and so reduce the numbers of machos and mushos in the world. Now, a lot of guys ain't gonna agree with this. They're gonna be like, well, no, I'm gonna make these women have these babies and take care of these babies and whatever. But if you got control over the young minds at formative ages, and you can educate and inculcate the young and the youth with what you think is the right orientation towards the world, then that solves half of your problems right there. That's what he's saying. When men get control of the kitchen, female power over man's stomach will diminish. Now, this is important as well. Man, I know grown-ass men who can't cook for themselves, man. And if you cook, they'll call you some sort of, derogatory name, like you a woman or something. But let's face the facts, man. Who are the best cooks in the world? Who are the best culinary artists in the world? When men get control of the kitchen, female power over a man's stomach will diminish. A man who cooks cannot be half-starved into submission on any matter by his wife. Now, this is crazy, man. Like, my father, man, is down there 80 years old, man. But he can't cook, man. He's learning, you know what I'm saying? We can't cook, man. God bless my dad, man, but the dude can't cook for real, man. Now he's beginning to learn because he basically is taking on a duty of taking care of his mother. Because his mother, my grandmother, man, is 99 years old, bro. So he got to cook for her. He's taking care and facilitating her passage from this plane to the ethereal plane. He's taking on the task and the duty, to ensure that she's not placed into some, old folks' home to rot away. He wants to see her, transition by his hand and with his love and his support. So he's got to learn how to cook and do stuff like this. Now he can pay for it. But, he called me the other day like, man, I cooked some codfish, man. She just looked at it, man, didn't do nothing with it. If I bring a bag of food in from outside, she'll just slap that on, lap it up. But when I cook, she don't want to eat it. So anyway, the masculinist believes in bringing about the revolt of the helots of matriarchy. What a different world it would be if only the macho ego would give up its ingrained stupidity and respond to the masculinist call. Men of the world, unite. You have nothing to lose but your macho illusions and your nest slave burdens. And that's your boy, man. That's your boy, Chinweizu, let me big up the screen, man. Let me see if I can get this going, man, the right way, bro. Let me stop sharing this screen and then switch over to this other computer, man. Broken Blade. The name of the book is The Anatomy of Female Power. I think Ian put the link to the book, and OK Shango also put the details of the book out there. You feel me? So if Ian is still here, man, would you put another link to that out there? Because the book is free, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know there are places where you can look at it, it'll say on Google that it's like $400 or something like that, but that's not the case, man. That book, man, it's out there. Okay, it's out there. So give me 1 second, man, while I try to transfer from the computer I'm on to the computer I want to be on. So just give me 1 second, right quick, man. Remove that. Remove G. Check, man. Can you hear me? Put a 1 out there if you can hear me, man. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I just switched over to the other computer, man. I'm just making sure. Like, put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, bro. I'm Borging. Am I Borging? It's a little choppy. Let me try it one more time, man. Let me quit this thing and start it back, man. Let me see. Check 1 time. Is it good now? We good now? All right, we all good now. We out the hood now. So anyway, man, I just wanted to share that with you, man. And again, the author of this book is his name is Chinweizu, and it's in the chat, bro. And I want to thank all the people who supported me tonight, man. I know I ain't been on in quite a bit of time, and a lot has transpired in the space. You got people being interviewed by feminists, and just. It is what it is, bro. But I'm here to break this. I'm here to give you information, man. Check, man. The audio went out, man. Okay, it should be back on, man. Should be back on right now, man. This is what happens, man, when you start uploading files and shit. When you start uploading, doing operation systems updates, right? Like 30 minutes before the show about to start. I should have I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that at all. But all I was trying to say was, you know, the beat channel was something I love to do. This is something I feel like I'm required by duty to do, as I consider myself to be a masculinist man. At one time, I was a macho and a borderline musho. But now I'm a full-blooded masculinist, bro. It is what it is, man. Like, you know, I don't have any more tears, you know, I have more tears to cry over women and, you know, all the shit that they complain and they argue about, bro. I'm done with that, bro. So, it is what it is, man. It's Friday, though, and I'm about to just lay back and chill and do me. But I wanted to share that with you, man. There's three types of dudes. You got the macho. But you know what trips me out about this space, bro, is that a lot of dudes consider themselves to be like that macho dude. That manly man. You know what I'm saying? That high value man. Like, I mean, no disrespect to Kevin Samuel, but dude, he's basically setting men up for nest slavery, bro. No disrespect to the dude, but he's, I mean, like, think about it. And these women are coming on air, man, like, look, I want a man making certain XYZ money and having a certain amount of education, and he got to have a six-pack, and he got to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I ain't worried about getting to the womb ain't never been the issue. This is what happens when you find yourself in that predicament, bruh. It's what happens when you find yourself married to somebody for 10 to 15 years and then the script get flipped on you. And then all of a sudden it's about divorce now. And it's about taking the kids now. Just like old boy said, man, look, at the end of the day, man, most of these macho guys, man, they're modern day helots, man. They working in service of these women, bro. If a woman says, no, I don't want that in here, Tommy. Hey, man, he got to put it back. If she say he can't buy X, Y, and Z, I don't want you to buy that. And then watch how much smoke and static you get. Just like Ricky Manning was on the air with me yesterday, and he said, man, look, the last two wives I had, you know, if I'd have proposed that, you know, I wanted to get this new car, they'd have been like, no, you can't get that new car. You can't get X, Y, and Z. How you going to spend that money on X, Y, and Z? He said his new wife was like, okay, cool. You know, man, you always wanted a quick car, fast car. Go ahead and cop that joint. We can take care of it. How many women got that kind of understanding? But then them will go behind your back and buy whatever they want. Get their kids money, everything. Anyway, man, I ain't planning on doing this all night, man. But you know, it's almost the you know, the end of this, man. Like I'm at 53 minutes, man. It's gonna be an hour today. Usually, sometimes I go a lot longer. But look, man, just be aware, man. I've been trying to tell guys, man, in this culture, women have the ring of Gyges, bro. I've been trying to explain that for a long time, bro. That they have the power. When it comes to the court system, they got the power, bro. When it comes to the cultural narrative, they have the power. And you sitting there scratching your head wondering what's going wrong. Well, you've been looking at things a little bit differently than the way you should. They've been training you for concubine peonage. And they use their body and sexual, you know, like wiles in order to do it, man. And dudes just fall right into the trap. And now the new thing is tricking and all of this, man. Like, you know, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? You got to pay, you know, if that's what you want to do, you know, go ahead and pay. But, man, don't pay eternally. Especially don't pay when you ain't even got access to the womb. Again, man, the dude is basically saying it ain't the feminists really that you got to worry about. Just avoid them. The only reason I don't like dealing with the feminists is because they've created the conditions for cancel culture. He didn't actually have the kind of environment that we have now. I wonder what he would think now or what he would say now about what's going on in relation to cancel culture. Because basically, they trying to come after your money, trying to belittle you in public, trying to label you, as some sort of oppressor. And it's confusing to me because, at the end of the day, man, I look at it like this. And after this, man, I'm about to go ahead and get up out of here. But the whole point is, think about it, bruh. You got black people, man, who went through 400 years of slavery. Now, all of a sudden, the oppressed become the oppressor. And because of who and what or who said so? Because white women said so. So they were able to circumvent black men's ability to rise, to function, flourish, and thrive within the context of American society. And unfortunately, black feminists just went along and started echoing and parakeeting those same kind of charges and allegations against black men. And what's funny about it is, like this woman who basically, interviewed Obsidian, what's weird about it to me is, these women, man, are worried about their image and what men are saying about them. But goddamn, for the past 50 to 60 years, man, all y'all been doing is telling us that we're oppressors, man. That we're the R word, that we're sexist, and that we're abusive. And they do it in the academy. They do it in corporations. They do it in the media, print, radio, TV, social media. And then they got the nerve to turn around and then talk about how their image is somehow being tarnished by black men in the manosphere. Brothers on YouTube, man? Come on, man. Y'all, you got to be kidding me, bruh. You gotta be kidding me, man. How you gonna control the narrative and run the table for 50 to 60 years, and then now you want to come in and you want to investigate what it is men are talking about in the manosphere? Now you want to figure out, like, why we saying what we're saying after being grinded like sausage in family court, after being alienated from our kids, after being told, we don't need men in the family. It's not necessary to have a man. There are other family structures and alternatives to explore. In other words, we don't need you, Negro. After all of that, for years and years and years and years and years, now you want to come into this space. Basically, you want us to be silenced. Basically, you want to run the termagant line. You want to keep men guilt-tripped, gaslit, and not looking out for their own interests, and not to say anything about you. And then the funny thing is, you got all of this equality in your heart, or you say you do. You say you got this equality all about you. But at the end of the day, you never, ever do introspection. You never look inside yourself. You never, ever critique the other side of the table. Imagine going to a counselor, a relationship counselor, and while you're there, all you ever hear is complaints about you. And you, and what you do. And as soon as you open your mouth to say something that the other party does, the first thing they do is they label you as an oppressor. So unless all of these people, women out here walking around with pixie dust exuding from their pores, we need to have a different kind of conversation. And no, we not gonna stop. Like I kind of tapered off a bit in what I was doing on my show, but I realize now, I need more content. I need to say more. I need to talk even more. Because I don't need permission to speak. We don't need permission to speak. And they can come after us, they can write articles on us. And basically all of this is written for who? White women. So they can read it. It ain't written for us. They not trying to have a conversation with us. They ain't trying to talk to us. They're trying to basically use what's happening in the space here as a means by which to already, label us. So that we can already be figured out. Because once you name something and identify something, you can disregard it. This is why I asked a long time ago, over a year ago, I was like, let's get ahead of the curve and make a statement about ourselves off the top. That way they can't come and ask us, what are we about? We'll tell them what we about. Here's our manifesto. Blow! Here it is right on the table. But me being visionary as I am, some people don't see the vision, But you will see it in a minute, though. You're going to see it because they're going to run this shit through the grinder, baby. I guarantee you that right now. They're going to try to run it through the grinder. Now we got to draw a line in the sand. Just is what it is. But we could have been preemptive. We could have been like, okay, ain't no need to even talk to us. Here's what we think. Here's what we about. Here it is on the table. With the best and the brightest in the academy and in the legal field. But it is what it is, man. Y'all Negroes will learn. One day y'all learn. It ain't about YouTube popularity and building up your motherfucking status. It's about the men coming after you and your sons and your brothers, man. It's about the sons of your sons and their sons, man. That's what it's really about. That's what it is for me. So anyway, man, having said that, man, I'm out of here, man. I'll holler at y'all, man. I might be on here tomorrow, all depending upon how I feel, bro. But anyway, man, I'll holler at y'all the next one, man. Peace out.